Welcome to my channel. Today, we learn English with an amazing story of a company that started in a small garage and changed the world forever. Imagine building something so powerful that millions of people carry it in their pockets every single day. Imagine failing, being rejected, losing everything, and then coming back stronger than ever. This is not just a business story. This is a story about dreams, risk, creativity, and courage. Have you ever used an iPhone, a MacBook, or AirPods? Have you ever seen the shining Apple logo on someone's phone and felt curious about how it all began? How did a small idea grow into one of the biggest companies in the world? And who were the young men brave enough to believe they could change technology forever? Today, we will discover the full story of Apple, step by step, in simple and clear English. Our story begins in the United States, in the state of California, in a place called Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley was becoming the center of technology and innovation. Many young people were interested in computers, but computers were not small or beautiful at that time. They were large machines used only by companies and universities. In 1955, a baby boy was born in San Francisco. His name was Steve Jobs. He was adopted by a kind family. From a young age, Steve was curious and intelligent. He liked to take apart machines and learn how they worked. He was different from other children. He did not always follow rules, and he liked to think in new ways. As a teenager, Steve met another young man named Steve Wozniak. Wozniak was shy, but extremely talented with electronics. He loved building computers for fun. When Steve and Wozniak met, they became close friends. They shared the same passion for technology. In the 1970s, computers were still expensive and complicated. Only experts could use them. But Wozniak had an idea. He wanted to build a simple computer that normal people could use at home. Steve Jobs saw this idea and believed it could become a big business. In 1976, in a small garage in Los Altos, California, they started a company. They named it Apple Computer. Some people say they chose the name Apple because it sounded friendly and simple. They wanted technology to feel human, not scary. Their first product was the Apple I. It was a simple computer board. Customers had to add their own keyboard and screen. It was not perfect, but it was a start. They sold about 200 units. For two young men working in a garage, this was a big success. Then came the Apple II. This computer was more advanced and colorful. It became very popular in schools and homes. Apple began to grow quickly. Money started coming in. The small garage company was becoming a serious business. In 1984, Apple introduced a revolutionary product, the Macintosh. It was one of the first personal computers with a graphical user interface and a mouse. Instead of typing difficult commands, users could click on pictures on the screen. It was simple and beautiful. However, success did not last forever. Inside the company, there were disagreements. Steve Jobs had strong ideas and a powerful personality. In 1985, after conflicts with the board of directors, Steve Jobs was forced to leave Apple. Imagine building your own company and then being pushed out of it. Many people thought Steve's career was over. But they were wrong. After leaving Apple, Steve started a new company called Next. At the same time, he bought a small animation studio that later became Pixar. Under his leadership, Pixar created the movie Toy Story, which became a huge success. Meanwhile, Apple was struggling. The company was losing money. Its products were not exciting anymore. It needed new leadership and new ideas. In 1997, something surprising happened. Apple bought Next, and Steve Jobs returned to Apple. When Steve came back, Apple was close to failure. But Steve had a clear vision. He wanted to simplify the product line. He wanted to focus on design, quality, and innovation. In 1998, Apple introduced the iMac. It was colorful, modern, and different from other computers. People loved it. Then in 2001, Apple launched the iPod. It was a small music player that could hold thousands of songs. Before the iPod, people carried CDs. The iPod changed how people listened to music. In 2003, Apple opened the iTunes Store. Users could buy songs online legally and easily. This changed the music industry forever. But the biggest change came in 2007. Steve Jobs walked onto a stage and introduced the iPhone. He said it was three devices in one: a phone, an iPod, and an internet communicator. The iPhone had a touchscreen. There were no physical keyboards. It was simple, elegant, and powerful. The iPhone changed the world. Today, smartphones are everywhere. But before 2007, they were very different. Apple showed that a phone could be smart, beautiful, and easy to use. In 2010, Apple introduced the iPad. It created a new category between a phone and a laptop. Once again, Apple proved it could invent the future. Sadly, in 2011, Steve Jobs became very sick. He had been fighting cancer for many years. On October 5, 2011, Steve Jobs passed away. The world was shocked. Millions of people felt sad. He was not just a businessman, he was a visionary. After his death, Tim Cook became the CEO of Apple. Many people wondered, could Apple survive without Steve Jobs? Could it continue to innovate? Under Tim Cook's leadership, Apple continued to grow. The company released new iPhones, improved Mac computers, and created products like the Apple Watch and AirPods. Apple also focused on services like Apple Music and Apple TV+. Today, Apple is one of the most valuable companies in the world. Its headquarters, called Apple Park, is located in Cupertino, California. The building looks like a giant spaceship. It represents innovation and futuristic design. But what makes Apple special? Is it just technology, or is it something more? Apple's success comes from combining technology with design. Steve Jobs believed that technology should be beautiful. He believed in simplicity. He once said that simple can be harder than complex. Apple products are not only powerful, they are easy to use. Another reason for Apple's success is its focus on user experience. From opening the box to using the device, everything feels smooth and thoughtful. Apple pays attention to small details. Of course, Apple has also faced criticism. Some people say its products are expensive. Others say the company controls its system too strictly. But even critics agree that Apple has changed the technology industry forever. From a small garage to a global empire, Apple's journey teaches us many lessons. First, believe in your ideas. Second, do not fear failure. Steve Jobs was fired from his own company, but he returned stronger. Third, focus on quality. Do not create many products. Create great products. Apple's story is also a story about teamwork. Without Steve Wozniak's technical skills, the first computer would not exist. Without talented designers and engineers, the iPhone would not be possible. Success is rarely a one-person journey. Today, when you see the Apple logo, remember this story. Remember the garage. Remember the risks. Remember the failures. Behind every big company is a story of struggle and courage. So what can you learn from Apple for your own life? Maybe you have a dream. Maybe people do not believe in you. Maybe you feel different, like Steve Jobs did. That is okay. Being different can be your strength. Keep learning. Keep improving. Stay curious. Technology will continue to change. New companies will rise. But the spirit of innovation, the courage to think differently, will always be powerful. Apple's journey is not just about computers and phones. It is about imagination. It is about seeing the world not as it is, but as it could be. And that is the full story of Apple, a story of passion, risk, failure, and incredible success. Thank you for learning English with this amazing story. Keep practicing, keep dreaming. And remember, sometimes the biggest ideas start in the smallest places.